Sir Isaac Newton is regarded as one of the greatest minds to have ever lived. His contributions to physics and mathematics are compared only to those of Albert Einstein. He is best known for his discovery that gravity is the fundamental language of the universe. Newton was born in 1642 in the United Kingdom. He studied at Cambridge University's Trinity College. His work was focused on mathematics, optics, and motion. At the time his studies began, Cambridge and most of Europe had adopted the theories of Aristotle as fact. Newton soon began to support Copernican theory as he believed the universe was not geocentric. Newton lacked self-confidence during most of his life and neglected to publish much of his work out of fear of rejection. Because of this, his late-life publications made him more famous after his death than he ever was in life. Though he studied at Cambridge, Newton made some of his most notable discoveries during a 2-year period when Cambridge had closed while the plague ravaged Europe. It was during this time that the famous apple encounter triggered an epiphany in Newton, and he really began to grasp the concept of gravity. The laws of motion developed by Newton are still intact today, as no one has been able to disprove his work. He discovered that a moving object's force was the direct result of its mass multiplied by its acceleration. He also discovered that gravity is the fundamental force of governing all objects in motion throughout the universe, though Einstein would later expand on this by determining the mass of an object to find its gravitational effect. Newton observed falling objects on Earth and gravity's effect on orbiting bodies in space, concluding that gravity keeps objects in motion and orbiting bodies speed up as they get closer to the object they orbit, resulting in elliptical orbits. He was also able to explain tide shift, which helped mariners all throughout Europe. His discoveries in gravity and motion have shaped the way we understand the universe now more than 350 years after his life, a sign that his genius was unprecedented. While his works on motion and gravity had made him a household name, Newton also conducted experiments with light. He discovered that white light refracted through a prism creates an infinite array of colors, changing the way light and color were looked at in science. Each color was measured by the angle at which it left the prism, relating directly to each color's unique wavelength. This discovery is used to explain the phenomenon of rainbows appearing after it rains. The sunlight passes through water particles much like it would pass through a prism. Through his work in calculus, Newton developed a way to represent curves mathematically, as well as the area bound by curves, with precision. He developed differential calculus and determined that integration is the inverse of differentiation. However, because he was not timely in publishing his findings, he came into feuds with other mathematicians who had made similar discoveries but were published earlier. Fortunately, his comrades dated his research so that he would be able to ultimately be credited for his findings. This did not prevent him from being involved in feuds for decades with several other mathematicians. Newton's laws can be seen each and every day in the world around us. Architects use calculus and physics when designing buildings. Gravity and motion affect us even while we sleep, and any industry handling physical products must consider these things, be it moving materials around in a warehouse or shipping products across land and sea. Newton ultimately explained phenomena that have been observed since the beginning of time without true definition. His observations revealed the fundamental forces that govern the entire universe. His mind was always wondering why, and because of that we now learn this why at a relatively young age. Sir Isaac Newton is the reason we understand as much as we do about the world we live in today.